think if you ask anybody in the police department about him, they'll say he was the guy that was always smiling.
Right now at 6 o'clock, heavy hearts continue to mourn the loss of a fallen hero, Officer Robert Garton. This morning, we'll learn how Connecticut communities are showing support as they all kind of grapple with this incredible tragedy.
2 parents in custody after leaving their 6-week-old baby outside in the heat, hopeless and defenseless. How that little baby is doing this morning and what is next for the parents.
And later in the half hour, we're hearing some of the heartfelt stories from those who lost loved ones during the September 11th attacks. All that and more right now on Connecticut's news station.
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good Friday morning. Thanks so much for choosing to be with us at 6. I'm Erica Arias.
And I'm Keith McGilvery. Grateful you are here as we get a first check of the weather. Meteorologist Matt Scott standing by for that. We have had some significant heat over the course of the last couple of days. That is for sure.
Index got to, in some parts, 105 yesterday.
Wow. Officially a heat wave.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As if there was any doubt. You know, sometimes we miss it by a degree or so, but no, this one you could put in the books clearly. Here's what you need to know before you go. Slight heat improvement today as we drop the heat index to around 93 to 98. Oh, well, it's every little bit, right? A few more showers now and into the weekend. The weekend looks a little unsettled. If you're looking for a break in all this, it's not going to be until like mid next week. We'll talk about that coming up. 71 degrees in the capital city right now. Look at New Haven at 78. Muggy, and you can see clearly where the dew points are high and that tropical air is in, but there's some dry air just desperately trying to move its way in. And as a result, the dew points in the north and west, not as bad. Unfortunately, it's not going to win out. We're going to keep it awfully muggy into today, tonight, and that will translate into a couple of showers, you'll see. A couple of those storms may have a little punch to them. We're going to have to keep an eye out on that. Again, heat index 93 to 98, looking for a heat advisory that continues today. Be careful out there. 73 now. If the kids have a full day of school, when they get out, it'll be around 86. Before then, a little higher than that around noontime when the early dismissals happen. And as always, the state's severe hot weather protocol is in effect for one more day. You can dial 211 to find the closest cooling center and number of schools. They're closing early again. All of that and more at the bottom of your screen and, of course, at fox61.com. All right, we've covered the weather. Let's cover the traffic right now. Rachel Piscatelli, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Matt. It is 6:03 right now, and not bad out on the roads this morning. Most of the road work has wrapped up between 5 a.m. and now, so we'll take a live look outside over in Hartford, just out by Jennings Road, where things are running smoothly with light volume. Over in Waterbury, 84 east and westbound, we have some volume on the eastbound side of 84, but otherwise things are running smoothly. The road work in Milford that was causing quite a bit of delay about an hour or so ago has wrapped up for your morning commute. And we'll take a live look outside over in New London with some areas of fog now, but otherwise volume is rather light. Keith, Erica, back to you.
Rachel, thank you. The Hartford community and the state continues mourning the death of Officer Bobby Garton this morning.
Garton was killed in a crash Wednesday night. He and another officer were in a cruiser when a man fleeing a traffic stop struck them with his car. Fox 61's Lindsay Kane live at police headquarters in the capital city where people have been stopping by to pay their respects. Lindsay, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Well, a memorial continues to grow here outside of police headquarters for Officer Bobby Garton. Now you can see the flowers laid out on top of this cruiser here. People from the community coming to lay those flowers to show their respect. Now, Officer Garton was an 8-year veteran of the Hartford Police Department. He's being remembered as someone who always did everything he could to keep his city safe. The 34-year-old was a passenger in a police cruiser heading to a call just before 10:30 Wednesday night. His partner, Officer Brian Kearney, was driving through an intersection on Asylum Avenue when police say a man fleeing a traffic stop hit their cruiser. Police say 18-year-old Richard Barrington, a high school junior, was behind the wheel. He was stopped for a canceled registration. Surveillance video from Broad Street shows the moment he was pulled over, but then shows him driving off. Barrington is facing several charges. He's being held on a $1 million bond and is due in court again in 3 weeks. Officer Kearney is still in the hospital this morning. Now, police say he is facing serious injuries. I did reach back out to police for an update on his condition. We're just still waiting to hear back. But the Hartford Police Department is coming together to pray for his recovery and mourn the loss of Officer Garten. Mayor Luke Bronin says no one can forget the weight that comes with wearing the badge.
And that's a reminder that every one of our officers, no matter how safe they are, put themselves in the line of danger every day.
Now, the last line of duty death in the city of Hartford was 26 years ago. So, of course, this is a difficult time for the Hartford Police Department. They're getting support from other departments across the state, including the city of New Haven, that is offering comfort dogs and peer support. Now, coming up in the next hour, we'll also hear from community members as to how they're also planning to show their support as well. Live in Hartford this morning, Lindsay Kane, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Lindsay, curious if you're able, if you could just step out of the way for a moment and show us that car there, kind of a feel for what you're seeing out there this morning.
Yeah, hi, good morning. Well, people from the community were coming to lay flowers on this police cruiser right here. You can see a photo right here of Officer Bobby Garten, flowers on top of the cruiser. And then if we could go over this way in front of the cruiser, there's this beautiful flower arrangement in the shape of a badge that is completely blue, of course, with a thin blue line in the middle, which, as we know, symbolizes the brotherhood, the sisterhood of police officers across the state. And, you know, like I said earlier, there's been a lot of support, as you can see, from the community, because some people from the community came to lay these flowers, the American flag right there, but also other police departments across the state that unfortunately all know too well what it's like to lose a member of the police department. So everyone is thinking of the Hartford Police Department during these difficult days and, of course, the difficult times to come.
All right, Lindsay, thank you for sharing that with us. We will check back in throughout the morning. I want to let you know we will have continuing coverage as we remember the service and sacrifice of Officer Bobby Garten at 6:30. Stay with Connecticut's news station on air and fox61.com, as well as our news app. We're streaming on Fox 61 Plus on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Connecticut State Police are asking for your help as they investigate a crash involving a trooper in Groton. They say a car crashed into the back of a police cruiser on the Gold Star Bridge at about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. The cruiser was stopped with its lights on at a construction zone. State Police posted these photos here of the smashed cruiser. The state police trooper and the other driver are both recovering this morning. The highway was shut down for several hours as they were cleaning up and investigating there. 2 people, including a toddler, were killed in a crash Wednesday night on I-84 in West Hartford. State police say the victims were 26-year-old Natalia Dzinski and also a 2-year-old named Malachi Scott. They say a car lost control and struck Dzinski's car, causing it to spin out of control. A 4-year-old boy was hurt after he was seriously hurt after he was hit by a car in Bridgeport. His mother and 2-year-old sister were also hit. It happened yesterday morning near Brewster Street and Fairfield Avenue. Police say the mother and the daughter are okay. We're still waiting for an update on the little boy's condition. The driver of that car that hit them did stay at the scene.
6:09 and new this morning, a fire in Norwich has left 5 people without a home. Officials saying just after 11 o'clock, a basement fire at an apartment on Sandy Lane broke out. Fortunately here, no injuries were reported, but one neighbor did suffer a medical emergency being treated. The cause right now is still under investigation. And new this morning, Plainfield police investigating the death of a 33-year-old woman. Officers say they found the body of Christine Knox in the backyard of a home on Cemetery Road yesterday afternoon. Right now, they're calling her death suspicious while they await the results of an autopsy. 2 parents from East Hartford in custody after authorities say they left their 6-week-old baby outside on one of the hottest days of the year. On Wednesday, when the temperature was above 90 degrees, police say 36-year-old Lakeisha Thompson left her baby in a driveway and went to work without checking if the baby's father had picked her up. They say the father, 35-year-old Siddiqui Donalds, refused to care for the baby. When Thompson returned about 4 hours later, she learned the father left the 6-week-old at Alumni Park. This gives you chills. Alone, that's the allegation, in a stroller.
The defendant did not return back to the house to check on our child until about 4 hours later.
This is a baby in a stroller who's completely defenseless and dependent on you.
The story just makes you catch your breath. We are able to tell you that the baby, fortunately, here is okay. Both parents accused of endangerment and risk of injury to a child. The Department of Children and Families now investigating. A man charged in a deadly stabbing in Meriden due in court today. 19-year-old Jose Ortega Torres charged with murder in the death of Justin Sloan Sr. Police saying Ortega Torres stabbed Sloan multiple times on July 8th after they got into a fight. They do not believe the men knew one another. Ortega Torres locked up on a $5 million bond.
A new law in New Haven is meant to crack down on loudspeakers in cars disturbing others' quality of life. Mayor Justin Elicker signed this law yesterday. It increases the fines on speakers on cars from just over $100 to now it's going to be $1,000 for the first offense. Police will be able to issue the fine if the noise from the speakers is plainly audible from at least 100 feet away.
We're chipping away at these problems. We want everybody in New Haven to have the peace and quiet they need.
Police say on top of hitting violators with fines, they're also going to take away those speakers when they can. Police are going to be assigning their drag racing detail to this task on the weekends.